Goodness knows you've been looking long enough. With the Volvo XC90, you've finally found what you've been looking for. A luxury SUV with seating for up to 7 people and loads of cargo space. Not to mention premium technology, including Google Maps, Google Assistant and Google Play. The Volvo XC90 is what you're looking for. Now at special run-out pricing from $99,990 plus on-roads. Visit Volvo Cars and discover why the XC90 is the vehicle for right now.
You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Yep, beating the Waratahs 57-12 to move into Super Rugby's top 6 for the first time this season. Hurricanes assistant coach Bryn Evans is with us. Bryn, first of all, in general terms, how big a result was this in terms of the Hurricanes season?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously good to see the boys, get out there and throw the ball around a bit, I suppose, and just see the smiles on the faces on a few of the moves coming off.
After a slightly inconsistent start to 2025, did it feel like a performance like this was coming?
Yeah, I think especially the week before the bye, really grinding out a win against the Highlanders. Brought some good cohesion amongst the group, and boys went away recharged over the bye week and came back really keen to crack on and put the axe to the grind and work on a few things that maybe we've been lacking on the start of the season.
What sort of things have been were the main focus heading into last night? What were some of the things that you were quite keen to see, even small improvements in?
Yeah, I think especially when we looked at our defence, it was getting off the line, not waiting for the opposition to come to us, more us go to them and dictate on our terms, put pressure on their ball players, and just being switched on both sides of the ball so we could be up as that one line.
I haven't seen the stats, but just on the defence, you must have been happy because, well, from my memory of watching the game last night, the Hurricanes' defence was excellent. I can't remember too many missed tackles, too many line breaks from the Waratahs. Were you happy with the defensive performance?
Yeah, I think obviously they're a good side, and rolling off the back of what they had done last week, they came out and started really strong. And so that's, flicked the boys into gear pretty quickly. And I think bar that first, 5-10 minutes where they got a few points, I think the boys really showed what they can do when they do the things that they've been working on during the week. So that was really pleasing to see.
So 35 minutes gone, you're only 10-7 ahead. Did it feel like it was going to be a bit of an arm wrestle, a bit like the Highlanders game at that point?
It felt like we were creating a lot of opportunities. It felt like we were playing within ourselves, I think, for the most part. And I think we were playing in the right areas of the field. It was just, that last pass or a little bit of a miscommunication or, something that didn't quite go our way. And then that last 2 or 3 minutes before half time, we managed to put a lot of good phases stacking on top of each other, and I think Asafo scored a try, and then from a kick that bounced from the kickoff, the boys just pouncing on loose ball, and then from there, that's where the boys really come alive and play a bit of Hurricanes rugby, and that was great to see a few passes sticking and going the length like that.
Surely got to give a rap to Isaiah Walker-Leawere for his run late in the first half to set up Cam Roygaard's try.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I think Isaiah, potentially had one of his better games, one of his best games in a Hurricane jersey last night. He was everywhere. He was playing right on the line and just he was in everything. So it was really awesome to see. He's had a few issues with his discipline over the start of the season, and I think he's really gone away and he's worked really hard on those things, what he can and can't do, and I think we saw a great version of him last night.
Yeah, indeed. Couldn't agree more. They scored a try early in the second, but then 33 unanswered points from the Hurricanes. You must have enjoyed the last half hour or so of that game.
Yeah, it was great. Great to see a few guys come off the bench and take their opportunities. It's I think, from the start of the season that we've had the opportunity for some guys that don't generally play a lot of rugby or, consistent rugby, that to actually get some real valuable minutes under their belts in terms of Super Rugby. So in terms of a squad, we're really building some experience here, which is great. And those guys are actually now starting to kind of figure out how to go about their business. And I think it's just going to make the team stronger going forward.
Set piece, one of your key responsibilities. 9 out of 10 of your own lineouts won. You won 4 of theirs. You'd be pretty happy with those numbers?
Yeah. We pride ourselves in our set piece. We're on the wrong side of maybe a not straight, which was tough. But the boys trained hard over the week, and I think in terms of trying to stop a team like the Waratahs, you have to attack them at source, and they've got some great ball runners, and they've got some strong forwards. So we really plan to go after them at set piece. So if we could disrupt them in the first phase like that, then that was going to make our jobs a lot easier. So it was pleasing to see the boys get set first and really sort of attack what was in front of them.
Now, does Ruben Love practice throwing 30-metre behind-the-back flick passes?
Well, Ruben Love practices a lot of things, and he practices them very well. I haven't seen him do that one. Might be one of those sessions that I might have ducked in to review training. So potentially, but he's the sort of guy that can pull those things off, and it looks like it comes as easy as it did to him last night. So he's a talented player, and it's great to have him back playing some Hurricanes rugby. Yeah,
pretty special stuff to set that try up at the end. And another really solid performance from Duplessis Kirifi. You've been in and around him for a little while now, Bryn. Are you seeing some growth, as we all are, in the way he plays the game?
Yeah, 100%. He's come into he's a big part of the team. He's a leader. He's been given that leadership, one of those leadership responsibilities this year, and I think that's something he's been craving. And he's just taken everything in his stride. The boys will listen to him and they'll follow him, and I think that's the best thing. He's the kind of guy you'll get him behind, and he'll lead the way. So it's coming through on what he does on the field, obviously, and off the field as well. And I think he's taken that opportunity, and I think he's the sort of guy that's gonna do everything he can for this team, and that's what you want of one of your leaders. Absolutely.
And just to finish, the Blues up next, a week tonight up at Eden Park. They're a bit of a wounded beast at the moment. They've got the bye this weekend to get their own refreshment in. How are you going to prepare for the challenge of the Blues at Eden Park next week?
Yeah, I think the boys would have been happy with the result last night, but then as soon as that was done, there'll be one eye on the week ahead, and we lost at home to them a few weeks back, so that'll be not too far in the distant memory of the boys, and I think it should be a really good game. We're going to be preparing really well, but as you say, there'll be an air of desperation about the Blues, and I think it's going to be one of those. It's going to be a real scrap, so you will be looking forward to that.
Yeah, so will we. Excellent stuff, Bryn. Congratulations on the win last night. Thanks for the chat today. Go and enjoy what looks to be a pretty nice Wellington day.
I can't beat it, mate. Thanks, Piney.
No, thank you, Bryn. Bryn Evans there, assistant coach of the Hurricanes after their good win yesterday, 57 points to 12. So that does take them up to 6th on the table on points differential, basically. They have the same number of points as the Force, but a better points diff. So after 6 games, Hurricanes on 14 points. Chiefs are top. They've got the weekend off. The Crusaders can go top later on tonight. Gold Sport and iHeartRadio will have coverage of the Crusaders against Moana Pacifica.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.
For a few years in the 1970s, the Mr. Asia syndicate made millions.
Heroin creates its own market. It acts like a form of plague.
Until jealousy, betrayal and murder brought it all crashing down.
Clark would have threatened him. Go and kill him. If you don't, I'm going to kill you and your wife and your son.
This is Mr. Asia, A Forgotten History. All episodes now available on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.